3.5 by doing a couple of special cases. The first one is writing an equation for the line, and for this one, it's a vertical line containing the point negative 1, 6. Now, we just got to think about this. We can't really put it in slope-intercept form because if you think of the slope of a vertical line, the slope of a vertical line is undefined. And so we can't really put undefined into point-slope form. So what we're going to do is just, think about where negative 1, 6 is. So negative 1, I'll say 6 is up here. And we know it's a vertical line through that. Pretend that goes through the 1. And this is what it looks like. Well, how do we write an equation for a vertical line? An equation for a vertical line is x equals, and we want to make sure it's going through the x line. Well, this is going through negative 1, so it's x equals negative 1. Now, this is a good visualization to help you figure that out. If you can, though, remember it, this is the x-coordinate, this is the y-coordinate. Equation of a vertical line is the x equals negative 1. Very similarly, we're going to talk about how you do this with number 7. Technically, with number 7, you could put this into point slope form. Y minus 7 equals 0 times x minus 4. And then we get y minus 7, anything times 0 is 0, and then add the 7. But again, what we can do is we can think about this and visualize it. If we know the point is 4, 7, okay, that's up here, and with a slope of 0, this means it's a horizontal line. Horizontal line goes like this. That's a y line, so y equals, and the height is 7. So again, that y coordinate, that's going to give you that horizontal line. One of the final two that we're going to look at is looking at it with a parallel and perpendicular line. We want to create an equation that goes to the point negative 1, 2, but is parallel to the equation 3x plus y equals 5. So let's make sure we understand what we're trying to get at first. So here's the point negative 1, 2 right here. And we want it parallel to this line, y equals negative 3x plus 5. So I just swung that 3x to the other side. And then that line is 5, and then negative 3, down 1. So it's kind of going like this. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find a line that is parallel to this one, but that also goes to this point. So we're looking for this line right here. The equation of that line is our question. So we have a point that it goes through, but we need the slope. Well, if they're parallel, that means that they're the same slope. So the slope of our line is negative 3. So now I have a slope and I have a point. I'm going to use point slope form to help me figure out what that equation is. So if we do y minus 2 equals negative 3 times x minus negative 1, y minus 2 equals negative 3x, make this double negative a positive, and then we get minus 3, y equals negative 3x plus 1. And if you look at that, that's kind of where it's at, right? It's hitting about plus 1, it's going through that point, it has a negative 3 slope, so that looks good. That's in slope-intercept form. If we wanted it to be standard, we'd add over the 3x, or I'm sorry, yeah, we add over the 3x. Number 9 is similar, but this time I have a point at 3, 4, and it's perpendicular to this equation. And let's put this in slope-intercept so we can just kind of get a quick glance of what that looks like. Although this might not be the easiest. Actually, let's do intercept So if I put a 0 in here, y equals 5/4. So that's 0, 5/4. And for our y-intercept, and if I put a 0 in here, then I have 2x equals 5, and x equals 5/2. So that's 5/2 comma 0. So we have a line that's about here, and a line that's about here, okay, or a point that's about there. So we connect that. So, okay, going back to the problem. Containing the point 3, 4 and perpendicular to this line. This line is that 2x plus 4y equals 5. So if it's perpendicular, we know it needs to cross at a 90-degree angle. So it's somewhere in here about. Okay, so the question is, what's that line? Well, we have a point. This point is 3, 4. And we actually know a slope. If we know that the slope of this one, so the slope is opposite of a over b, which is -2/4, which is -1/2. Okay, we could also figure this out by putting it in slope intercept form. So 4y equals -2x plus 5. Y equals -2/4 x plus 5/4. So that's the slope of the red line. So a perpendicular slope would be +2. You can see that that's positive. So I have a positive slope, I have a point. I'm going to use point slope form, and we're going to plug it in. So y minus 4 equals 2 times x minus 3. And again, I'm just going to rearrange it a little bit to put it in slope intercept first. Okay, and let's see if that kind of makes sense. Always check to make sure it makes sense. So -2, yeah, I would say maybe that's about -2, and you can see that's a positive slope about 2/1, so that looks good. And if I put it into standard form, I'd bring over the -2 or 2x, so -2x plus y equals -2. If I want that positive, I just change the signs on everything. So there would be standard form on that. And we're going to stop there. We'll go over any questions you might have tomorrow in class.